Okay, what we have here is the Crosman Hunter Hank 177. It's a lever action BB gun made by Crosman. So I'm going to show you a little bit of it here and tell you what I found out about this rifle here. So I suppose you could say it's an answer to the Red Ryder from the Crosman company. So before I show you these groupings, I just want to show you some details here about it. It takes 750 BBs. I took out the chronometer and I found out that the velocity was right. It was anywhere from 340 to 360 feet per second. And also remember that the rifle has to be broke into. 15 yards is where I started shooting. The ramp is set at 3 of 4. So there's 4 notches, and I had the ramp set at 3 right there. So there's still 1 left for more distance. The accuracy, 70% of the accuracy was 2.5 inches for the 10-shot groups that I was doing. So 70% of the BBs will group at 2.5 for this one. Now yours might be different. You know, you're going to have to break things in. The BBs I was using was Daisy. I would like to try some Avanti and some other ones and see how they compare with these BBs. So the Avanti ones are a little bit better tolerance, so I might try them. And there's some other BBs too. The break-in for this one was about 200 rounds. When I first started shooting this thing, it was shooting really wide groups, about, let's say about 5 inches for 70% of the shots. Now it's down to 2.5. So once again, you guys, when you buy something, you know, you take it out of the box and you start shooting it. Don't think that you have to send it back, and don't complain about the barrel not being straight and all that other stuff. You have to put the gun through its paces. You have to shoot it quite a bit to break it in. So it's a spring piston, so all of these parts that are inside here are real tight for tolerance, so they have to be loosened up so that you get consistent velocity. So it takes a while to break in any kind of a spring piston rifle. Using the ramp 3 of 4 on the notch setting, I was getting 3 inches, about 3¼ inches high off my aim point. Here's my aim point right here. I was aiming right under this black square, and the BB was impacting. If you took the center of this right here, the BB was impacting pretty much in this area. So if you take the center of that, you get about 3¼ inches. As you can see, my first set right here, I had to move my windage over. So once I moved my windage over, I thought this is pretty good, so I don't want to mess with my windage. It's hard to adjust the windage on this sometimes because it doesn't have little notches or little indicators of where your windage is. So you have to just pull it over. You have to pull it over right here, loosening up these 2 screws. So that was my aim point, and ramp number 3 we're up here. So in other words, what's going to happen with this rifle is, since it's doing this at 15 yards, you know it's going to be a 25-yard shooter for sure, because it's already jumping high and we're only at 15 yards. So what I did too is, you guys know that spring piston rifles, you're supposed to you know, have a loose hold on them so that you can let them recoil, which another name for that is artillery hold. That's been around for ever since spring piston rifles have been around, but not this one. Bench rest on this one, what I did is I held it tight. Instead of having a loose hold with my palm open like this and allowing the recoil, what I did is I gripped it pretty hard, rested it on the supports on the pistol rest that I have, and another base back here that I put the stock that's more level, and I just held it really tight, and I made sure that I was on target, pulled the trigger, and found out that I could get just as good of accuracy on this one with holding it tight rather than holding it loose. Now, if you hold it loose like this, if you're standing up, yeah, you'll probably get the same accuracy, but I'm just saying, when I did my testing, I didn't notice any difference between holding this really tight or laying it loose on the palm of your hand or the rest or whatever. So that's mostly for the, the more harsh recoiling springers, like the more powerful ones, like my Hotson and stuff like that. You don't want to hold them tight. You want to allow them to recoil. So you want to, whatever base you set this on, you want it kind of so it can move freely back and forth. But since the recoil is so light on this one, it ain't going to matter. A lot of you guys are going to shoot standing up anyway, so I don't think you're going to be bench resting this. The whole purpose of bench rest is to take human error out as much as you can to see what will the rifle shoot if we took out all the variables, or at least some of the variables. So what you're seeing here is 2.5 inches. And like I said in a lot of my videos, I believe in a 10-shot group for BB guns because you get quite a wide spread. So if you only took like 5 shots, you could probably say, oh wow, it's shooting 1 inch at 15 yards. Well, you still want to try out a few more. So I would recommend 10-shot group, then move your blade over.